The last few months, I've been going all in with the Digimon Vital Bracelet, and even though it's an all-new product in the Digimon line of devices, something about it still felt so familiar to me, especially with the combination of the built-in pedometer tying into the gameplay, and the use of a variety of chips to gain Digimon, and then it clicked with me. I suddenly remembered seeing these MegaMan Battle Network LCD devices at our local Toys R Us store in the mid-2000s, and despite not ever getting one for myself, I could still draw some parallels to the latest Digimon device and the MegaMan Battle Network Advanced PET because of this unusually patriotic commercial that would play back in the day.
Prepare to get erased, kid. Net battle!
With the new MegaMan Advanced PET, you control the action.
You wouldn't be so tough without that helmet, little brother.
You're on, Proto Man. Plasma power! Missed me again, number one, son.
But I won't miss this time.
Oh no! He's gonna blast President Lincoln!
I knew you'd risk yourself for Mr. Lincoln.
I will admit that this device uses its series of chips more as battle tactics by having you swap out point chips and weapon chips and all that good stuff in the heat of battle, making it more of a battle simulator rather than a virtual pet or digital monster of sorts. And I have to admit, this was really forward thinking for LCD toys back then, and really got players in the same collecting mentality that I'm beginning to see with the Digimon Vital Bracelet, with its assortment of dim cards both currently out and coming soon. But anyways, let's get into what most of you probably came here for, how this thing works. Although virtual pets and digital monsters are my forte, as I stated before, this is more of a battle simulator than anything, with some cool RPG elements to boot, like experience and leveling up. And it stars the one and only MegaMan. No, not that one. Or that one. Close, but no cigar. There we go. This particular iteration of MegaMan is known as MegaMan EXE, where he is a program version of MegaMan who exists in the internet or something. So anyways, upon inserting the commonly used CR2032 into your advanced pet device, you are greeted by MegaMan.exe. And asked to set the time, which I believe out of all my LCD devices, the time on this thing matters the least, so we'll go ahead and skip that. Now, as far as getting into your first battle, you don't need to find another fellow MegaMan Advanced Pet owner to have yourself a battle. Because of the use of the built-in pedometer, you can take steps, or shake it. You will eventually trigger a random battle. However, I couldn't for the life of me get anything to happen. And after noticing a few eBay listings of the pet devices claiming the pedometer feature wasn't working, I decided to open mine up. I identified the pedometer mechanism, which is a little rolling ball, apparently. I ended up cleaning it with a cotton swab and gave it another shot. And just like that, I entered my first battle after a good bit of shaking. Now, as you can see from me scrambling to shove battle chips to combat my random encounter, I wasn't quite sure what I was doing just yet, because I didn't learn about the chips and whatnot. So let's get into how those battle chips work. The battle chips represent your selection of options during a battle, and come in a few different categories: attack chips, support chips, and the Navi data chips, which seem to be based on the many robot characters in the MegaMan series, and were released alongside the Battle Chip Gate for the Game Boy Advance. And don't worry, I will get into this neat little contraption later. If you wanted to get your hands on some of these battle chips, you had to either buy them in the form of a 5-chip booster pack, much like trading cards, or get some exclusive special edition chips bundled with MegaMan Battle Network action figures. And yes, some of them were exclusive to certain figures, like the Plus 30 recovery chip being bundled with the Magnet Man action figure. I honestly avoided buying new booster packs and figures and just bought a pet device bundled with 94 battle chips and called it a day. But I noticed something a little strange. With this huge lot of chips, I noticed that some of the duplicate cards had slight variations. For example, take a look at these two Plus 50 recovery chips. One displays the name of the support chip, and the other displays the CP cost to use it, which I can only conclude Mattel didn't have enough space to display both, so they did a 50-50 variation rate on the chip labels. I've never seen anything like it, but then again, Mattel is responsible for
Mattel Electronics presents 317
So anyways, let's take a closer look at the stats tied to an attack chip, which includes CP, or chip capacity, element type, which come in neutral, fire, electric, and aqua. There may be more elements out there, but I certainly don't have them in my collection. And attack power. There are other details like chip ID and whatnot, but these are the three things we'll be focusing on. Now let's take a closer look at the Cyber Sword attack chip as an example. This has a chip capacity of 2, and so long as Mega Man can afford it, it can be used. Which you can, because Mega Man seems to have a default chip capacity of 3 from the start. However, a more expensive chip like this one cannot be used until I expand my chip capacity, which I assume can be achieved by leveling up. Also, the element here is neutral, and I'm going to assume it goes by the rock, paper, scissors Pokemon type formula of the elements, but I'm still not sure. And last but not least, an attack power of 3. So with this knowledge fresh in my head and some pre-selected battle chips more in my league, let's get ourselves into a random battle. So it looks like we encountered the little safety hat robot. Battle start. Now we pick who goes first. I think it's based on your timing. Oops, looks like the safety hat boss is going first. He fired his first shot, and that's a hit. Ouch. Slot in. It's time to pick a battle chip, and hopefully I've chosen wisely. We'll use Bubbler. Looks like I'm choosing my primary weapon first. Oh, I totally missed that one because the enemy icon is supposed to be in that shaded square. If he's not, I believe it's a total miss. Yep, completely whiffed him. Looks like you can skip the battle animations if you want. Okay, so these are the stats of the chip. The Bubbler has a chip capacity of 2 and an attack power of 3. Here's the attack element icon, which shows the icon for the aqua element. This screen shows the spaces it takes on the battle board. Chip okay? Yes. Okay, so this time I hit the action button when the enemy's icon was actually in the shaded space, so... Boom! Hit him. That actually did quite a bit of damage. Okay, looks like I used up this chip, so let's move on to another one. This seems to be some sort of wind attack, and it only costs 1 CP. Slot in, so that's my cue to put in a new battle chip. Also, the sound on this thing is not the best. And wait for it. There. Another successful hit. Down and out. That's honestly my first win. Nice little victory tune and a very happy looking Mega Man. Ooh, here's my results screen. Looks like I gained 10 experience, took 3 turns. Not sure what that info on the bottom is, but yeah, that's the flow of the battle. Now, if that little bit of gameplay seemed familiar to you, it's probably because you recognize it from the MegaMan Battle Network series, which is what spawned this device in the first place. But unfortunately, I never had a chance to get into the games. But the device and its chips did tie into the games they were based on, and you could have utilized these chips in the game itself by getting the chip gate for Game Boy Advance. So anyways, what do you think of the MegaMan Advanced PET device? I personally think it was pretty ahead of its time with its abundance of chips that you could get to expand the gameplay and really cool RPG elements. I definitely want to keep playing with this device and maybe get another one so I can have myself a player versus player battle. But anyways, I want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to check out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.